And we are back.
Howdy. It is September 22nd, and today's topic is no pain, no gain. Epictetus says, difficulties show a person's character. So when a challenge confronts you, remember that God is matching you with a younger sparring partner, as would a physical trainer. Why? Becoming an Olympian takes sweat. I think no one has a better challenge than yours, if only you would use it like an athlete would, that younger sparring partner. I love that idea of like, use your challenge the way an athlete would.
Train with somebody who's better at it than you are or something.
Well, and I think he's like, because like the training of the younger athlete is sort of like the comparison that he's making. So he's like, take on your challenges the way that that athlete would take on a much younger, faster, better competitor.
You gotta work harder.
Yeah. Right. And like, this is how you should be with your challenges, because it's so easy to be with my challenges like, I don't want this. I'm not going to do this. This other thing is easier. Why is this so difficult for me? Why are things so easy for other people? Why can't I get through this challenge without it feeling so difficult? Why couldn't this be an easier challenge?
Yeah.
Instead of saying, no, I actually thank you for being difficult, the way an athlete would thank a younger, stronger partner, because the athlete knows that he's going to emerge from that event, win or lose, as a better athlete.
But how could you, let's say, think as an athlete when perhaps, I'm not saying, well, you have your experiences of being like an athlete in certain, but like, how does one train as an athlete when we don't know how hard athlete trains? It's, you know what I mean? Or like we think that we know how hard it is, but we don't actually.
I think it's more of like a mindset where it's like every challenge is like good. It's like the Jocko thing of like every challenge is good, and how is this asking for me to grow and change in order to meet this challenge? And that's the part where I oftentimes get pissed off, because I don't want to grow and change. I just want to stay the same, but I want all of these awesome things to happen in my life. And it's like, that's not how awesome things happen in your life. Awesome things happen in your life when you decide that you are going to grow and change, no matter how unfair that seems or how difficult it seems. But like, the growing and changing of me as a person is what brings the new things into my world. And so it's like, I literally have to look at my challenges and it's like, good. Now, what is this asking me to like try differently? Because it's always a guess. Like, I'm never going to know for certain that I'm growing in the right direction. A new challenge will come and reveal to me the ways in which I've mistrained and the ways in which I've trained correctly. And now I'm going to try to make corrections off of that. And that's a guess. And a new challenge is going to come to tell me how good I did at it. like this is life. But like, somehow my mindset around all of this has been in like a very like, poor me, think, why is life so unfair? Just like more of like this entitled millennial sort of thing where it's like, I just want things to happen while I sit on the couch.
Yeah, like we want they're like, hey, you can dream as big as you want, right? And that's it.
Nobody tells you how you need to work.
Like, okay, I dreamed it, and now, okay, what time is it? Is this coming? Is it tonight, or when is this coming?
Right.
And they're like, and that's when they say, oh, and then someone will pop up from the crowd and say, well, you also have to work hard, right? And then you go like, oh, okay, well, I guess I have to work on it. Okay, dude, but you have no idea what work hard is, right? And so it's like you don't have any of this training, so you're thinking you're working hard. You're not working hard enough, most likely, right? Because you are just starting. So any first bump you're gonna hit in the road is like, damn, I'm working hard, man. Look at these challenges, right? But like, maybe and maybe that's perfect, right? That is great, because yes, you have to go through every single challenge in there, right? So even the first one and the third one, right? And so we cannot jump from the third one to the 100th one as much as we want to, right? That's what we want. We still want to say, can we jump up there and skip all this hard in between? No.
Can I summit the mountain without climbing 14 miles first?
Making every single step of them, right. Like, yeah, maybe with like a helicopter, but then you can't call yourself a climber, right, or something, or like there is a different, maybe the result might be similar, but it's not the same journey or something. Yeah. So and then we want to avoid the hard. We're like, oh, couldn't life be that I am working on it, but it's not hard. Not, it doesn't feel hard. No, it feels good. It feels good working on it. Oh, and now I have all these amazing results from it feeling good working, and now I have these amazing results. No, you're just gonna have good results, right? Like it has to be freaking hard in order to get down and really get it, and then maybe from that you might have some result, but it cannot be about those results again. Because that's even as I'm saying that, I'm like, I'm again talking about some stupid results.
I think it has to be about like the growth and the growth, so that I can overcome this obstacle. And there will be like some pot of gold somewhere in there, but like that can't be what I'm working for. I have to be working for the growth that happens from this obstacle, so that I can do the next obstacle and grow from that. And there will be pots of gold along the way, but that's not what I'm oriented around. I'm oriented around the journey of challenge after challenge after challenge that is helping to reveal the areas that I need to grow into in order to have the best experience of my life.
So it's almost like a good that's so funny, because like I want to be like, no, I want to have a life without too many challenges, at least, or without really hard challenges. I want to have a life like kind of like, hey, I was able to skip through in some way and I had some challenges, of course, but they were okay, they were good, like that would be like, oh yeah, life was great, right? But it's like that's avoiding challenges, right? And then so what is a good balance of challenges? Well, being overwhelmed with challenges, that's also not good, right? Now you're drowning in it, right? So there has to be some sort of a good balance of challenges. So like, hey, my life is great, I'm living it, I'm doing everything, but I also have these other challenges that I cannot currently have. I don't have a solutions for them right now, right? So there are challenges, and I have to keep working on them and not try to not work on them, or try to avoid them, or whatever that is, right?
Right.
And so every time on our journey from here to here, we need to have challenges in our lives throughout that time, not avoiding them. They will be there, 100%. But then how we react to them should be not avoiding them, but actually, okay, I am here on this journey right now. Here, let's say, I don't know where the end is, so I am somewhere, right? But the challenges that I am facing right now are real, and they are here. And so let's deal with them right now, right here. With these, don't come up with new challenges.
Right.
Then one day, I might have a big challenge. Yeah. That's a risk, maybe, right? Like mitigate risk. Okay, good. But like that's not your real problem right now.
Also,
deal with the problems that are right now.
That is a risk mitigation strategy, because if I know how to deal with my problems that happen right now.
Yes, beautiful. You will always know
how to deal with problems. I will have a good relationship with it.
I want to focus on the problems that are big, that are going to be coming later, right? That's my tendency, right? But these right now that I have in front of me, I go like, no, I don't want to deal with that. Oh, I don't want to deal with that. No, that's so terrible. Like, why do I have to deal with this? Come on, man, can this go easier? Like, this is my frustrating prayer, if you call it anything, right? This is what I'm kind of like saying internally, aka not wanting those current challenges.
Right.
I rather just think about some hypothetical challenge that's much bigger that hasn't happened yet, right? And justify that that's better use of my time than these pity things that will come and go. No, they're very important. They're here challenging you right now, and right now it's proving me that I cannot go over them because I'm trying to avoid them. So it's like, well, how are you gonna deal with this big challenge that you're trying to think about later when you cannot even go through this this little, in my view, unimportant thing, even though I'm realizing that it's very important to actually do that. It's right here. So why think about challenges that they're not here? This challenge is right here in front of you. Go do it. Jesus Christ, right? It's like, it seems like very like, don't be an idiot. Just, there's $100 on the floor. Just pick it up. Like, don't be stupid, right? Like, it's this, right? But it's nevertheless, I go like, well, but I own like a lot of money, guys. Like, I own like millions of dollars. They're like, pick up the $100, dude. Right? Like, this is the thing. Like, you will get to many monies if you pick up this $100.
Right.
This is part of that, right? And I'm like, no. I want to think about how to, So like, this is similar. Like, there's like analogy for it or something. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I mean, that's good. That's good to learn about yourself,
Yeah.
Because it's like,
it's one thing to learn it and talk about it like this, and the other thing is to remember this, to remind myself of when I'm not doing it, and then groove it in my freaking, frontal. What do you call it?
The frontal lobe.
Frontal lobe. Frontal lobe. For it to groove itself in there, so it's now a newly automatic response versus this crazy, like, what's happening?
Repetition,
All back here. What's happening?
Yeah. You just gotta get some reps under your belt.
Yeah.
You ready for Ryan?
Mm-hmm.
Ryan
Thanks
says,
for listening. Yeah, that was great.
Yeah. Ryan says, the Stoics loved to use metaphors from the Olympics, especially wrestling. Like us, they saw sports as both a fun pastime as well as a training ground to practice for the challenges one will inevitably face in the course of living. As General Douglas MacArthur once said, in words later engraved at the gymnasium at West Point, "Upon the fields of friendly strife are sown the seeds, that upon other fields on other days will bear the fruits of victory." Everyone has found themselves outmatched by an opponent, frustrated by some skill or attribute they have that we don't, height, speed, vision, whatever. How we choose to respond to that struggle tells us about who we are as athletes and who we'll be as people. Do we see it as a chance to learn and get stronger? Do we get frustrated and complain? Or worse, do we call it off and find an easier game to play? One that makes us feel good instead of challenged.
Yeah, so I'm sorry to interrupt, but I feel like I am constantly on that edge of like, I can't deal with this, so let's get the hell out of here. let's find a different situation. Yeah.
And so he's calling out three things, like, do we see it as a chance to learn and grow stronger? So like, that's the ideal. Like, when a situation comes, great, I can learn, I can grow stronger from this. Do I get frustrated and complain? That's a lot of times what I will do. I'll get frustrated by it. I'll complain about it.
That's my default. Yeah, no, for sure.
And then calling it off and finding an easier game to play. That's the other one.
That's quitting, right? And trying to think and trying to find easier game to play. Well, good luck, because luck is all you're going to need during that time, right? Because it's rolling dice, dude. It's not like you're gonna end up in a situation that all of a sudden it's like, whoa, dude, there are no difficult people here. Like, how are you gonna? Come on, dude. That's absurd, man. Yeah. Okay, keep going. Sorry.
The greats don't avoid these tests of their abilities. They seek them out because they are not just the measure of greatness, they are the pathway to it. There she is.
What do you have from your side on this one?
I feel like this whole year I've really practiced leaning into my challenges, you know. I had a big challenge last year at my job with a people challenge that I couldn't figure out. And so I was trying to step up to that, but it was like the opponent was so outmatched.
You were really trying.
I was really trying, but the opponent was so outmatched that it was like, yeah, I need to quit this and find an easier game to play, because if I keep playing this opponent, they're gonna smack my head straight off my body.
You were too you're like you want to go play with the big boys, right?
Right, but I'm like a T-ball.
And big boys using big bats, and they will swing your head off.
So I think there's some discernment there that needs to happen. Like what you were saying is like you need to be challenged, but you can't be drowning in it.
You can't be.
So I have to actually, until I remove myself from the situation in which I'm drowning, I can't actually step up to the plate in any of my other challenges, because how I do one thing is how I do everything. And so now it's like, it's the overwhelming thing is bleeding into everything else. So I have to identify like, this is an unhealthy tumor, cut this out of the system. And then now I feel like I've been practicing like really leaning in to the challenges. And I felt like I am being challenged at the right amount. And sometimes it does feel like I have an overwhelming day or like just a crazy thing. But like the next day I come back to it and I'm like, this is the right challenge for me.
Yeah, this is the right and that's what I was saying earlier too, right? Like the having the right amount, right?
Yeah.
Like going into a gym and start carrying 100 pounds on your back is not going to be a good beginning for you. Or middle, right? Just all of a sudden loading up all of this stuff. It has to be this progressive loading. And so sometimes we are you're applying for a job, everything sounds great, all of a sudden you know a few months later you're sitting there and you're like, yep, this is a little too much of a challenge for me. Right? You don't know ahead of time. You have to be in the swimming with the fish to know if now there are crazy barracudas who are about to go sink you, right? So it's like, okay, cool, maybe a pond with carps. It's still gonna be challenging to swim there, but yeah.
And I really like, you know, the frustration and the complaining that was really like has been my thing historically, and like this year I've really been trying to weed that out of my relationship with challenge and like really view challenge as like, this is time for me to grow and me to change. And I find that like the way I used to think about challenges and what I used to say about challenges, it's like all of that has like shifted. So I'm thinking about them in a different way. I'm saying things. Sometimes I'll still get an old thought that goes through my head of like, oh, like, why is this so difficult? Like, why does this thing always happen to me? But it's easier for these other people. And like, but I have enough resources on the other side of it now where I'm like, I can look at those thoughts and understand immediately how that doesn't make sense when I look at it through the lens.
So you have them, but then you it's not like you believing them or something. You're just like, oh yeah, here they come again.
Right. Versus a year ago, I might have just said them out loud to you as a complaint of like, oh, why is it like? And then we would have spent all day like just going over my complaints about the situation. Whereas,
and why they're not valid.
Or you might be trying to tell me they're not valid, and then I'm getting pissed off at you because I want understanding from you and I want you to be on my side and all this other shit. Versus now it's like they go through my head and I'm like, that doesn't get airtime. Like that just doesn't get airtime. Like I don't want to put it in our relationship. I don't want to give any more thought power to it. I want to reserve my thinking power for like, what do I have control over? What's my next step here? What is the situation asking from me? Like, where's my opportunity to learn and grow? And it's uncomfortable and I hate it, but God damn it, I'm going to go do it. Like that's more where my energy is. And I just feel like so much lighter. Like I don't feel like bogged down by
of course, that's
the
amazing.
world.
Yeah,
like the world used to feel like it was on top of me.
Yeah, if this is how, this is what actually helps, is to look at it differently.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
that's actually where the change happens.
Right.
Is not in some, I mean, it is actioning, right? It's I was gonna say, like, it's not in doing some actions. Well, it is actions, because it's actions within us to say, I wanna see it differently. I don't wanna let these things control me, and I want these things to control me more. And choosing those is super valid, and that's actually what we actually have control over. So it's like, the very few things that we have control over, and we focus on what we don't, and
all the time,
and what we do, we are like, whatever. Right? Like, Jesus Christ. It's totally misguided. But here we are learning it, so good stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, Brenty, cool beans.
Thank you, my baby.
Thank you.
Okay, la. You say things.
Let us know what your experiences are with this, and share. We love to hear from the folks who are kind of watching this, and see what are you going through when these challenges kind of arise? Like, is there another way to look at it? Yeah, sure.
Yeah. And we'll see you
tomorrow. Till then.